Good morning, Rabotai. We're going to move on now to the 39 Melachot. B'ezras Hashem, we'll go one by one. We'll deal with Bishul. So the Mishnah tells us in Masechet Shabbat that one of the 39 Melachot is Ha'ofeh, is the one who bakes, which really is the same thing as the one who cooks. It's just formally in the temple they used to do baking, either for the simanim or for to make the simanim, the dyes, or they would go and make lechem hapanim. They would make the showbread, the lechem on the shulchan. Nonetheless, baking is one of the 39 melachot. That is the av. The Toledah, the Rambam in the 9th chapter of Shabbat says that if a person also softens something that's hard, like a metal, makes it red hot and he softens it, or if you have something that's soft, like clay, and you harden it, you bake it, and it becomes into a finished vessel, that is also a Toledah of Bishul, and it's Hayab Mishum Bishul, because of cooking. It's also considered using a fire to adjust something into the finished state is going to be Hayab because of cooking. Now, the Gemara Masechet Shabbat, Daf Mem, tells us that a person is only liable for cooking if he heats up the liquid up to Yad HaSoledet Bo, which means that it's to the point where it's scalding hot. Not scalding hot for an adult, scalding hot for a baby's belly. So some Rachonim write already 104 degrees Fahrenheit is already considered Yad HaSoledet Bo. Therefore, a person that should be mahmir, not to heat up liquids to that point. By food, by solids, we have the gauge of Ma'achal Ben Drusai. Even cooking less than Ma'achal Ben Drusai, many opinions say it's Chatzi Shiur Asur Ben Torah, but the cooking it even a little bit by solids and by liquids is also Asur on Shabbat. So therefore a person has to avoid cooking anything on Shabbat. Now there's a discussion about maybe if a person wants to heat up water, but not to the point of Yad HaSoledet Bo, not to the scalding hot. It's very freezing cold, and he wants to make it lukewarm. So this is actually Mahloket Rishonim between Tosafot and Rashi. Tosafot says it's Asur because maybe you'll come to forget, and if you leave it in a place where it can become scalding hot, and even if you're going to tell yourself, no, but I'm going to take it out before, and I'm not going to let it get cooked, nonetheless, it's Asur still because you might forget, and that's what Shulchan Aruch writes as well in Siman Shin Yuchet, that if you're going to put it in a place directly where it can become Yad HaSoledet Bo, you're not allowed to put there, even if you plan on taking it off early. Then there's a famous Mahloket Rishonim on when something's already cooked one time. Does cooking apply to it when I reheat it on Shabbat? So reheating it, obviously, we're talking about on a plata or on a covered fire. Putting food on an uncovered fire on Shabbat, we know is a Sumid Rabbanan for a different reason. But if a person is reheating food in a putar way on Shabbat, is the food considered cooked again or not? So the Rosh says that once something is cooked solid, Ma'achar Ben Drusai, and you reheat it, and again on Shabbat, it's not considered cooking. Or if you have something that's liquid though, he says by a liquid, no, once it gets cold, it's considered reheating, and it's considered cooking once you reheat it. So therefore he says solids will be okay if it's Ma'achar Ben Drusai, liquids, if it's cold, it will be Asur. But the Tur is Mahmir even more than his father. The Tur was Mahmir that, no, as long as the solid is not fully cooked, you're not allowed to reheat the solid either. The solid has to be fully cooked. The Rambam and the Rashba argue, they say no, whether the solid or it's a liquid, if they're both cooked one time, it will be permitted to reheat it on Shabbat. Now, Shulchan Aruch is Mahmir, like the Tur and the Rosh, that if food that has the one you want to reheat food on Shabbat has to be a solid and it has to be fully cooked. If it's a liquid, then if it's going to be cold already, you're not allowed to reheat it on Shabbat. Reheating it would be considered recooking. The fact that the Mishnah Berurah explains that the liquids that got cold, when you reheat it, it's as if you cook them again. The whole idea of having a liquid cooked is for it to be hot. Once it gets cold, it's as if you never cooked it and it loses its status of a cooked item. So therefore, that's why it's Asur to reheat it on Shabbat. So soups, a lot of times soup you want to eat on Shabbat, if it's already cold in the fridge, so then it'll be Asur to reheat it on Shabbat according to Shulchan Aruch. So therefore, a person has to make sure that he knows these opinions. The fact that we have Rashba and Rambam helps us in certain situations. For example, if somebody reheated it by accident, it'll be mutar to have it. It's not Asur to benefit from it. Or if it's a Telagoy, you're not allowed to reheat liquids, but the Telagoy, you'll be allowed to Telagoy to reheat a liquid on Shabbat. Anything that's a mahloket in the Chachamim, you'll be permitted. There's no Amira Nochri issue, there's no telling a goy issue on something that's a mahloket and if it's a sur or not. So therefore, it helps to know the Rambam and the Rashba. There's a nice story that it says Lipsik's parasha lo tignova, do not steal. So there was a nice story where there was a Hasid going on a wagon, the wagon driver said, let me stop a little bit, I want to eat some apples. And he said, okay, no problem. And he takes a break and he pulls over and he sees that he's picking from a tree randomly. And he says, interestingly, this guy owns trees all the way out here. And he tells, before he picks, he tells the passenger, listen, tell me if somebody's coming, okay? Shh, don't tell anybody. So he goes, he tries to climb the tree to take the apples, and he tells them, oh, there's somebody here. He goes down the tree, who, where? He says, oh, he was here, he was here. So he goes up again, tries to take it again. Oh, somebody's here. He says, where? I don't see him. He says, look, they're looking. Over there, they're looking. Somebody's watching. So therefore, he realized, he gave him a big musar. Sometimes people think nobody's looking. They look left and right. They're really supposed to look up as well. Baruch Amen.